Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PIPCAST 3000, a bi-weekly podcast that happens every other Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, usually, and has to do with some sort of RPG-related topic. We primarily talk about Bethesda games, but we can diverge sometimes a little bit. I'm Caedo Genesis. This is my co-host, Bad Company Sarge.
Brightest blessings.
Oh, he said something different.
It's, the episode's coming out on the solstice. I made a note of it.
Okay. Well, this episode we're going to be talking about our wish list for The Elder Scrolls 6, because we haven't done something like that, or not for a long time. And Sarge and I have experienced a lot of other games since the last 5-6 years or so. Mm-hmm. So we have more of that knowledge in our tiny little brains to expand our wish list, I guess, for what we want the Elder Scrolls 6 to be. So if you have your own things that you like want to see in the Elder Scrolls 6, you know, this is after Skyrim, lightning in a bottle game. We really don't know what is going to happen. So if you have like things that you want, or things that like you've seen Bethesda do and that you don't want, and I'm gonna talk about a lot of those myself, put them in the comments, because we get a comment of the cast and then read it off each episode. Thank you to the supporters. You're in the end credits if you choose to support. I really appreciate it. And those of you who don't, that's fine too, as long as you're, you know, here engaging, listening and stuff like that. Like, I really appreciate that too. So thank you so much. And a special thank you to Wasteland Legend Sven, who has been a Wasteland Legend in the $50 tier for God knows how long. And I really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into the comments of the cast. Sarge, would you mind taking one of these two from the YouTube side?
Sure, let's take Chad's comment. Chad Hager says, on the new upcoming games, a new Castlevania side-scroller in October. Also an upcoming Bloodstained game. There is a Silent Hill 1 remake in works, probably be released in 2027. Going to suck for me because the new Control game is coming out at around the same time as the new Onimusha game, and can probably afford one. So yeah, there's a few of the games that have been announced and stuff lately. There were so many showcases. Mm-hmm. So many of them. There have been so many games announced. And I'm going to be entirely honest and upfront. I don't think a single game that's been announced is one where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to cover that on my channel. It's going to be the next big thing for me. Like, there's been a few games where I'm like, oh yeah, I'd like to play that. But nothing that's like, yep, this is the thing I'm going to cover.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get into it shortly, but Bethesda was pretty sparse on the things that they showed.
Yeah, I loved how in the Xbox Game Showcase there were like 3 or 4 times where it went, Bethesda presents, and it's like, Infestations update. Elder Scrolls Online technically exists. Doom is technically Bethesda published.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Felt like we were being teased a bit.
We could also see possible reasons for that lack of stuff in some of the news stuff we're going to go over too. So, mentioning the news, we're going to get into a few news things that happened over the last couple of weeks. We are also recording quite a few days earlier than we usually do. Mm-hmm. So, if things happen between Friday and Sunday, oh well.
Yep. Nothing's going to happen. There's been so much news that I can almost guarantee nothing's going to happen. It's going to be a real quiet weekend.
It freaking better be, because last weekend was nice and loud.
Yeah.
All kinds of things happened. Okay, so speaking of the kinds of things that happened, we had Summer Game Fest, which was a lot of game trailers and announcements. A lot of new announcement things, like world premiere kind of things. Stuff that you would expect to see. World premiere. Things that you would expect to see in the award show, the Game Awards that happens towards the end of the year. But I guess so many publishers and developers were just itching to release something in 2026 that it all happened at once, seemingly. I grabbed a convenient list from IGN where they consolidated all of the announcements from Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
Mostly AAA stuff. Highlight for me, obviously, was Final Fantasy VII Revelation. This is part 3 of the remake trilogy, what I was kind of expecting to see, and I did, and there was quite a bit to see. So I was pretty satisfied just on that alone.
Yeah.
But we also saw a whole bunch of other stuff. We saw more Blood of the Dawnwalker. They've been these are former Witcher devs doing their own kind of Witcher-like, but it's a vampire game.
Yeah. This is the one game on the list that I'm interested in.
Yeah, it's very cool looking. I mean, without playing it, it does look like it plays like a Witcher game, but you have different powers.
Yeah.
And a lot of the design philosophies of like crowded streets and, you know, people going about their business and stuff like that, and feeling alive, like a lot of those creative things from The Witcher 3 kind of translated to
more like feeling unalive.
Good one, Sarge. Yeah, the vampire game looked cool. There's also, let's see, Star Wars Zero Company, which is the turn-based strategy that they're doing, which looks kind of cool. Guild Wars 3, which I don't know who was waiting for Guild Wars 3. I know there was like a cult following of players for Guild Wars 2 for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
So but Guild Wars has always been like, I don't know, it kind of always felt like that MMO that's like almost big, but just behind like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14. At least that's what it feels like in my head.
I can understand that.
But it looks cool for an MMO, and I'm excited for those who have been playing Guild Wars 2 for so long.
Yeah.
Let's see, The Last Ronin. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin game.
Yeah.
Didn't see very much about it besides, you know, some splash screen stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a case of if you're a TMNT fan, then you probably already are somewhat familiar with the idea behind it. So yeah, for the people who are really into it, they're already gonna have a good idea of what it's gonna be like.
This is a Raphael solo adventure. If the silhouette is to be believed. Oh, Resident Evil Veronica. They also showed gameplay of during the Xbox one, we can get to that too. They showed gameplay of Gears E-Day?
Yeah, Gears of War E-Day.
Gears of War E-Day?
Yeah, the gameplay looks good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like solid stuff in there.
Like a classic cover-based shooter in the same world that kind of popularized the genre, and now they're hopefully iterating and making another freaking awesome story.
Yeah, there were two things I took away from it. One is it actually felt like a showcase of a game where they're trying to focus on, oh, hey, look, you can shoot through this stuff. Oh, hey, look at how smooth the climbing is. Look at all this technical stuff we've been doing. Which I feel like we've not had as much of that in recent years, whereas for about a 10-year run, it was, we can now make multiple fish on screen at the same time. We can now make light bounce. Just every single game was like, we have new technology. And then I feel like for the past few years, it's like, it's a good game. Do you like games? Here's game. This was the third showcase I've seen in a while where it seemed like they were really trying to show off, oh, look, you can shoot through this glass into the enemy, and you can climb and then jump from the thing you're climbing on, and it felt like they were trying to show off fancy technical stuff a bit more.
And not just that too, like some of the presentations, I mean, now that you mention it, did kind of feel like that. It's like, remember games being fun? Here's something fun, you know? Just pop it into your Xbox and wait like 20 years for it to update. And then you'll have fun.
The other thing with the Gears of War trailer is I really struggled to tell for a long time if it was a prequel or a sequel. I was like, is this before all happened? But it talks about it being later on and stuff. It's not a prequel, Caedo. It's later. It's after.
It's when the alien things attack, right?
No, it's a future one. I'm gonna double check this now in case I've now messed it up. Gears of War E-Day.
Because E-Day is representative of the time when the attack happens and everything's on fire.
But they also show stuff about them afterwards. and they talk about, oh yes, this is after oh, what's his name? Coltrane, right? C-Train, Coltrane is dead, and they talk about that. This okay, now I'm even more confused because I'm looking it up and there's conflicting stuff. And like E-Day would
Somebody
make
in the comments help Sarge.
That. But then when they were talking in like the post conference thing, they were talking about like, oh well, he's a veteran and they're mourning their friend and stuff, and now everything's back to normal. But it seems like it's a prequel.
Well, yeah, because they did military service.
Yeah, but Coltrane dies like
as part of the Gears
in the series.
But the person that died, I don't think was the same person that died in the previous series.
What? Okay, is
it was
someone different?
It was somebody Marcus served with, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god, they're making this so confusing because they've only got 2 of them as well. They've not got the guy who dies later on in there. And then they're mourning a guy who I think we maybe get a brief look at, and me half remembering what he looks like as well. I'm like, yeah, that could be him. Man, this is...
Now we're questioning everything, because I am not invested enough to be an authority on this either.
Yeah, I've dabbled in Gears of War as well, which is the problem. But it's also the case that I think the problem was Marcus looked younger to me, but then he's meeting up with people who he meets later in the franchise, from what I recall, and... Oh man. Let us know in the comments if you think Gears of War E-Day is a sequel or a prequel, because I'm now more confused, and I seem every time I look into this game at all, my opinion changes over whether it's a sequel or a prequel. Like, I think it's a prequel now, but when I started talking, I was like, it's a sequel. So once it comes up again in the comments, I bet you I'm going to think it's a sequel.
Yep. Do you have an Xbox S or Series console?
I think I have an Xbox One something. Maybe a One S? Xbox's naming convention is so dumb that there are games I haven't played or bought on the Xbox because
Do you
I'm
have
like,
the one that looks
sure.
like a fridge?
No, it doesn't look like a fridge.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate because it sounds like some of the Xbox reveals that happened are going to be console exclusives.
Okay, but you say console exclusive. I've seen lots of people being like, oh, well, it's only coming to the Xbox. But then it's like, it says console exclusive, so is it still coming to PC? And just not to PlayStation?
They said console exclusive, so I'm assuming by using the term console, they're just referring to the Xbox itself and not PC.
But the problem is saying console exclusive could mean it's exclusive to this console out of all consoles, or by saying console exclusive, they could say it's exclusively coming just to this console and nothing else. I want them to have clearer wording. It bugs me so much because I'm seeing
there already have been interviews of people getting clarification, and I mean it's partially because of, I mean, we can get into the next topic anyway, because WTF is Xbox doing, I say. So Xbox has a new CEO, Asha Sharma.
Yep. And
she's kind of moving and shaking a lot of kind of Xbox and trying to go back to, it seems like she's trying to bring back the Xbox identity as a home console and as a first party kind of development thing. So part of that was announcing Gears and also bringing back Halo Campaign Evolved, which is hopefully co-op based Halo game with no multiplayer.
Yeah, it's a sort of remaster of the first Halo with
it's a sort of remaster missions. even though like they already did a remaster.
Yeah, I was very confused while watching the showcase.
But this one has
Halo's
but
back.
This one has less features,
sort of, because if you had like the whole Master Chief Collection thing, and you get multiple games and a multiplayer, this is a smaller Halo that's the first game but with more stuff in. I'm hoping it's going to be reasonably priced, because if they bring this Halo out as like a $60 game, then I'm like, no, this is not only is it a remaster of a game we've played before, but you can't be like, well, we added in like a few extra missions, which also the first Halo has a reasonably compact story, so I feel like any missions they add in can't really be plot relevant. It will just be, oh, and between going from this location to this location, Master Chief shot 100 aliens. And that's the sort of mission they'll probably have to add in, so... Yeah, I'm hoping it's a nice cheap game they're making. Like $10-20 tops, and I'll be like, yep, that's all fine. But...
That's really optimistic, Sarge.
Oh,
I hope it's true.
I'm not
but
being
it's...
optimistic, I'm just saying that's as much as it can reasonably be, and if it's more than that, they suck.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
Yeah. That would be nice, is what you're saying.
Anyway, Xbox isn't being super nice at the moment.
No.
As you say, there's a new CEO, and there has been some good stuff. Like, she did the whole push to lower the price of Game Pass after it had been increased. And there's a lot of stuff where it's like, well, Phil Spencer did a bunch of things, and the company's not making as much money as it used to. So we're going to change a bunch of stuff. And some of that has been good. Some of it's been like, yeah, we're making sure we've got lots of good games coming out. We're making sure that Game Pass is a decent price so lots of people buy it. And also, we're going to be laying off a ton of people sometime soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Supposedly in the next 100 days, they are, dropping more people, more studios. It sounds like they're either like selling off the studios or just closing them, which really sucks because one of them is Ninja Theory. And
that's one that's been getting all the press coverage because they just announced a new game.
They just announced the third Senua Saga game, Senua.
Yep.
Just one word. And that's frustrating.
Yeah, it was
because...
like the game got announced and the very next day there was news about, the studio's shutting down.
That means money was put into promotion during a show like that, which is pretty frickin' expensive. And now it might mean nothing. Which really sucks. And also, this is Ninja Theory, the ones who had pioneered like some of the most realistic looking like photoreal gameplay like in the history of modern gaming. So like what I'm upset.
Caedo, I have a positive take on all this. Yes, you're right to sound excited. Sarge is coming in with the silver lining to this incredibly dark and thunderous looking cloud. Which is, this sounds slightly better than the other layoffs we've been seeing in the past few years in the industry.
That doesn't make it better. That just makes it less of the same thing.
Yes, it's less bad. Might still be bad, but it's not as bad. Because this time we're actually hearing about studios that are going to be shut down and stuff before they're shut down. A lot of stuff that's happened in the past is just, I got into work and there was an email saying I've been fired sort of thing going on with a lot of these layoffs, where it's just kind of out of nowhere. And I do think, while obviously the dread of, I'm going to lose my job, this is inevitable, is incredibly bad, at least it sounds like Xbox is trying to prepare some of their studios for the fact that they're getting rid of them. And in some cases it does seem like they're... I imagine what is going to happen with Ninja Theory is they're basically keeping them around to have the game launch, do all of that stuff, and then they're going to let them go. And my one slight hope is that with these studios having time to prepare for the fact they'll no longer be a part of Xbox, is that some of them can stay around, they can look for funding elsewhere, some of them maybe can go independent if that's possible for them, depending on how big the team is and all of that stuff. Some of them can look for roles elsewhere. Like, my hope is that, as bad as this news is, it's not like a you're getting fired out of nowhere situation, so maybe they'll have time to figure out what to do.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's the good news part of it, which is still bad.
It's not good. It's bad. It's all bad.
There is actually a quote in this paywalled article, which mentions from Matt Booty.
Disabled JavaScript.
I just refresh the page and then I can scroll and then it pops up again and I'm like, yeah, I can read it. I've read the entire thing, it's fine. It's a very short article.
Yeah.
The quote here is, excluding Activision Blizzard King, which is a stupid company name because it's 3 companies all mushed together.
Yeah, it sounds so stupid.
Yeah, excluding Activision Blizzard King, over the past 5 years we have spent over $20 billion on ongoing investments in our content platform and hardware subsidy. But our annual revenue has declined nearly $500 million during that time. Going forward, this cannot continue. Which, yeah, does make sense.
This cannot continue. This cannot continue.
Yeah, it is a case of Phil Spencer spent a lot of money, like, acquiring different studios and stuff, and, like, investing into Game Pass as an idea.
This was the 2020 rush, too.
Yeah.
Because everybody was at home, a lot of them were bored and playing video games and investing in video games, and then all the big companies were like, oh my god, let's pour billions into this industry, buy a whole bunch of studios, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, there's also
hopefully up, and now it's crashing. So
yeah, there's the very stupid thing with investment in a capitalist society where investors are like, oh, graph goes up forever. Yes, of course, that's how it works. Not figuring that there's a limited number of people.
What conditions are we in right now that are
stuff.
kind of determining this? They don't think about that. That's not something that they think about. They think about, like, instantaneous, how can I get the most money right now kind of thing, and it sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Because it's not the corporations or, you know, the publishers that get punished for this. It's everybody who's working for them.
Yeah.
And we keep seeing it with a lot of studios, a lot of really good studios being dropped or shut down or other bullcrap. So, like, seeing them say that these are, you know, we're making hard choices, there are ways to mitigate the damage that they're doing and still doing to these studios and these developers. Like, there's going to be a creative vacuum too. Well, in the AAA space, there's already a creative vacuum because developers that are being let go, that are being fired, are just deciding to go indie.
Yes.
Because they're not beholden to all this bullcrap that keeps happening when they're just like, oh, do I have a job tomorrow? Like, that is so much stress on top of, like, being paid to be creative. Like, I can't imagine how awful that feels. Like, dreading that something might be your last, you know, your last day when you've poured your heart into something that you really believe is going to be, you know, a great game or a great project. Like, oh, that sucks. Oh, it sucks so bad. Yeah. So on that note, I would like to segue over to Steam Next Fest.
How are you going to do that?
Well, it's a lot of indies. It's a lot of indies that are shown during Next Fest, and there's plenty of demos and things that you can just try out for a tiny fraction of the cost of a AAA game that, unfortunately, AAA games have been suffering the quality loss too, and a lot of that quality can be found in indie games. People are actually creative and love telling stories and, you know, remember when things were fun kind of vibes, you know? So
I'm going to be hyping up an indie game later in the What I've Played section. It's going to be a lot of fun.
If you have the chance, because this episode gets published, I mean, Monday is when the Next Fest is ending for this month, but if you get a chance and you're hearing this episode, hop on Steam, go to the store, look at Next Fest, and see if there's any demos you want to try. Because they're usually like, you know, 5 to 30 minutes. Some of them are roguelikes, so you can play it as long as you want, just within the limitations of the demo they give you. But there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Like, I was just telling Sarge about DDoD, I think. It's got a snail with a tank cannon on its back as its shell, and I was like, I'm gonna probably try that one just because it looks cool. Why wouldn't I want to be a snail with a tank cannon?
Yeah, I've been scrolling.
Who wouldn't want to be? Sounds fun.
Yeah, I imagine VVV which I guess is Voltage Virtual Victory is what it stands for. I feel like that's going to get a lot of people interest, because the main character looks like the VTuber Fillion, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I know internet stuff. I experience content outside of video games.
Yeah.
By which I mean I have a passing understanding of what VTubing is.
Yes. And of course, if you're looking for some multiplayer goof-off simulators, I mean, those are a huge trend right now, but also be careful which ones you decide to buy.
Yeah. I will say as well, if you click
Quality can vary.
If you click on the Steam page, at the bottom you'll sometimes see something that says AI-generated content disclosure, which is a good way to know that it's not worth playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I immediately looked at one of the games, like Blacksmith Idol, and it's one of those ones where you instantly look at it and go, that's an AI image. And the entire game is just basically this AI image and then a couple of buttons you click. It looks like trash. The people who made it, I'm going to say, are trash. I don't care. Don't use AI. You suck.
Yep. Don't use Gen AI.
Yeah.
Don't.
It's so
don't.
simple. I very much enjoyed one of the YouTubers I watched, Johnny Chiodini. They were playing like a game that's got quite popular, which is just organising books in a giant library of like 1 billion books or something. And they stopped playing the game because someone pointed out that they'd used Gen AI, but it was just in like a super minor way of, they wanted to make sure some of the text was right on some of the books and stuff. And it's like, at that point, why even use it? Because all you're doing is giving a bad taste in the mouth to people playing the game.
No, this is actually something I need to bring up, because it's so irritating when people do bring up like, it was only used for this asset, but then you don't know how much corners were cut. Like, as soon as you know that generative AI was used for something, you start to question every single asset in the thing that you're looking at.
Yep.
Take, for instance, the cafe I like to go to. Well, don't like to go to. I have meetups there. They have Gen AI for some of their signage, and they have like this promotional bullcrap on the TV upstairs that continuously plays, but it's got that disgusting AI smear because it's a gorilla that's animated, but then his arm like kind of morphs out of his torso to a different position. It's gross. It's really gross. I question like all of the art that they have up there, all of the like the textiles and stuff like that, like everything that they decorated this cafe with is now called into question because of what they chose to do with their promotional material. Like, it is awful.
Anytime I see something using AI, like any sort of business, I'm like, okay, whatever you make is going to be worse because of it. I just know that you've decided, this part of the business doesn't matter in any way. So why should I think you care about any part of this? This is clearly you trying to cut corners, trying to make money in the easiest way possible, just jumping on trends because you think it will be a quick buck. Like, no. Just no. Also, on the video game side of things, when it's like, we're using it for placeholder stuff, I love it when, like, crappy drawings make it into games because they were placeholder art. But an artist just did a stick figure or something, and then you see it and it's like, that's cool. That's like almost like an unintentional Easter egg of sorts.
Yeah, or if you have like a 2D sprite, so you can clearly tell that it's an asset that you need to replace at some point. Because like some of that stuff can slip through the cracks too. Like, just don't.
But when it's then just an AI thing, it's like, that sucks. But it's not a fun thing to uncover, it's a sad thing to uncover. There have been multiple games that I didn't play because there was a little bit of AI uncovered in them. Like, Expedition 33. I had that installed, I was getting ready to play it, and then there was the stuff that came out where it was like, these textures are AI generated, and the team was like, don't worry, we only did a bit of AI, it's no big deal. And I was immediately just like put off and just ended up not playing it for that reason.
Okay, I'm gonna probably reduce this rant a little bit because you got a double whammy from me and Sarge. Steam Next Fest, please check it out. It's where you'll find the things like if you feel like gaming is losing its greatness, or gaming is losing its creative edge in the AAA space. Experiment a little bit, play some demos. learn about some games that you may have never heard of or thought of before, and they're just kind of wacky and weird and fun, because that's at the end of the day what we're kind of after, I hope, is just having fun and then getting to talk about it with our friends, and then maybe they'll have fun too. I mean, that's what we did with Far Far West, and I've tried to convert a lot of people to Everything is Crab, because I found those on Next Fest and I was like, oh, these are cool and fun.
Yeah.
And not $80.
Yes.
That means you can purchase like 5 games instead of 1 and have as much, if not more, fun. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's a good time.
Yeah. I've bought multiple games recently. It's wild. I think I've spent like 20 quid the past month or two on video games.
Whoa.
It's crazy,
Big
man.
spender over here.
I also recently didn't spend like a $5. I was on the Xbox store last night, and I was looking at games and stuff, but it kept trying to show me like add-ons and expansions and DLC and stuff, and I couldn't find a way to filter it out. So a few games I'd added to Wishlist or added to Basket, I just didn't end up buying because I got annoyed that the filters weren't letting me filter out to just video games. So yeah, you lost like 3 quid, Xbox. How's your marketing strategy going now?
Yeah, get out of here, Xbox.
You're never gonna recover from that.
Yeah. Find a way to support people rather than just get rid of the people that are making you money. Anyway, speaking of people making things and hopefully keeping their jobs, The Elder Scrolls 6 is something that we've known is in the works, but because of Starfield, we've had to wait quite a bit longer, and I realized that, yeah, we haven't talked about wishlist stuff, like stuff that we would like to see. Definitely something that I can breathe easier talking about, and I wanted to see what kind of things you guys would come up with in the comments of like what you would want to see, like mechanics wise, or maybe something come back that hasn't been seen in a while, or like maybe some expanded lore on things that we don't know much about yet, because there's a lot. The Elder Scrolls is a long storied series. In fact, so storied in fact, I haven't gone back to the earliest games. I think I fired them up like once and didn't actually play them, just to,
I mean, the overwhelming majority of Elder Scrolls fans have not played the earliest games. Like, Morrowind tends to be the point where it's like, oh damn, you've been a fan for a long time, or oh, you've gone back and played like a really old game. And that's like the 3rd mainline game, and there are already like half a dozen spin-offs before that. Like, when you've got like 5 or 6 games before the game everyone goes, oh, that's the old one, you know you're in a long-standing franchise. Yep.
Yeah. And, man, at some point, I will at least jump back to, I think, Daggerfall. One of the earlier games got, like run through Unreal something or other. Okay. Kind of, like, fan remake.
Yeah,
or
I
remaster.
See those sometimes.
Like fully functional kind of thing. So I might give that a shot at some point. I'm pretty sure we reported on it when it happened too.
Yeah, we almost certainly did.
But I'm already wrapped up in the Skyrim right now, and as you are too, I'm sure. Oh yeah. So now that it's fresh in our minds again, I want to ask you, Sarge, is there anything in the Elder Scrolls 6 that you think needs to be there?
Oh, I mean, the game
must be there.
Yeah, the whole needs to a must. This started out as just a wish list of, oh, what would you like, and now, no, core essentials. One thing I want to bring up as, like, the thing that's most in my mind right now is survival mode. And this might seem a bit weird, because both Caedo and I are currently playing Skyrim survival mode. But that was like a Creation Club thing several years after release that came out. And I really want Elder Scrolls 6 to be built with at least the idea of survival mode in mind. Because I've been bulk recording some Skyrim, and I've got to the part in the main questline where you kind of have to go back and forth between, like, Skyhaven Temple, High Hrothgar, Throat of the World, Riverwood, like, just bouncing between a bunch of different places that are far away. And without fast travel, that is such a long and boring journey every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sort of thing where we have, like, carriages and stuff in Skyrim, and they've got horses, there are some ways to get around a bit faster. But the game clearly was designed with the idea that the player is always going to be able to fast travel away. It was very much a case of no one's like, oh yeah, top of Throat of the World, that's where we'll have, like, important quest stuff that you have to go to several times, and then they'll just walk away, because no, every single person playing that game was like, I'm going to fast travel away, that is the standard thing to do. But I want the Elder Scrolls 6 to be built with the idea that fast travel isn't mandatory, and to not have points where it's like, Delphine's like, okay, go to Solitude, come back to Riverwood. Go to Morphel, come back to Riverwood. Just keep going back and forth over and over again while I make up my mind about you. Like, I want to not have to fast travel. And on top of that, something that Skyrim does is, like, it's got signposts and things, and Skyrim feels like a half-sorted game when it comes to not having to fast travel. Like, there was clearly a lot of stuff put in so fast travel wasn't always mandatory, but I want the Elder Scrolls 6 to not require fast traveling.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And horses and carriages are a great start to that.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is boots of blinding speed as soon as you start the game.
Permanently equipped, no way to unequip them.
Yep.
Elder Scrolls 6 will be done in a week. Because all you need to do is, like, record some audio, have a blank screen, tell the character they're moving really fast, and just play a death noise every once in a while.
Yeah.
That'd be the easiest game to develop. I could probably make that game, and I've never programmed a game.
You probably could.
Yeah. But on the survival mode thing, as well as the, like, fast travel not being a thing, I would like a proper survival mode. Because I do think between Skyrim survival mode and Fallout 4 survival mode, there's some real good stuff going on. And the fact that Starfield didn't have a survival mode feels like a wasted opportunity. Because I feel like even with all the criticism I've given that game, and I'm going to give it later on when we get into the what I've been doing section, I do think a survival mode could have made that game significantly better. But Bethesda just didn't put it in.
Well, they added options that allow players to make it a survival mode if they want to, but that is not the same and feels like they didn't bother making... Well, obviously, they didn't bother making default settings for like, oh, you want to play survival in space? These are the settings you have, kind of thing. They instead just gave us a bunch of different sliders.
Which also changed the XP gain and therefore incentivized you doing things in certain ways, like making it so that, oh, I've got no carry weight for a bit, but then whenever you need carry weight, you're just like, well, I'll just change the slider and lose some XP and have more. I don't like the way it works.
No.
I don't like it. I'm going to say something controversial. This is a thing I don't like about Starfield.
Oh, super controversial.
Yep. That's right. I'm willing to say the hard truths.
Oh my goodness.
I don't like AI. I think Starfield wasn't that great. Man, I'm coming in with the hot takes non-stop now. Yeah.
And I think I would like to see... They've already spent a lot of time into the, like, building your home or your base aspect. Yeah. Like the settlement building or the Hearthfire houses or, like, what have you. But shipbuilding was also a thing in Starfield. So I would want to see kind of an evolution of that, I guess. Like, if it's going to be in a place that, most Elder Scrolls maps have a lot of water in certain spots, I would want to see a mode of travel be boat, and maybe a customizable boat. Okay,
that's an extra couple of years of development time. I guess we can wait till 2030 to have the Elder Scrolls 6, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they've already been working on that, then I could see that as being fun. I mean, as someone who played Black Flag recently, even the basic upgrades in the old version of that game are enjoyable. And honestly, I think taking the sort of Fallout 4/Fallout 76 base building aspects and just doing that in the Elder Scrolls could work very well. Especially if they have an even more kind of... Well, they've almost already got a junk system in the Elder Scrolls. Because we have things like firewood, straw, glass for like
Yeah.
half-fire specific, and then all the different metal ores like iron ore, corundum ore, or a calcum ore, and you have a smelter and stuff. Like, that system's already most of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have like scrapping things in the same way, but I know that when I did play modded Skyrim way back when, one of the mods I downloaded was like, oh, the smelter can now be used to turn like steel swords into a steel ingot or stuff like that. So that's certainly not like a new idea, and I think that would work very well in the Elder Scrolls. It would make house building a bit more fun, because while I do enjoy Half-Fire, it is very much, oh, you want a chest? It goes here in this one specific place and you cannot change it. Mm-hmm. So having a bit of customization would be nice. And yeah, with the shipbuilding thing that you say, if we are someone with a lot of water, which I don't know the geography of Hammerfell all that well, but everywhere's got water, even the deserts and stuff. So we could have like shipbuilding or something. That could work. I wouldn't expect it. And I'm also wondering, like, because then it's like, do you also have ship-based combat? Because that's like a whole other thing to factor in. And then it's like, well, what sort of weapons would you have on ships? Is this a point where we have black powder suddenly being a thing? Or I was thinking about Starfield shipbuilding yesterday, and like, it would be really cool if a crew actually did stuff rather than just technically give you bonuses which may or may not work. But now I'm thinking of like, well, maybe instead of like cannons and stuff, Elder Scrolls has mages. Maybe you can have a battle mage aboard your ship who just shoots fireballs at enemy ships. Like,
Yeah.
there's definitely cool directions you could go with it, but it is a big ask.
Yeah, well, it's like it was always hidden. Like, there were certain moments in Skyrim where there were ships in places or that moved to places via loading screen.
Yeah.
Like, the Cataraya comes to mind. It's the one that's more like right outside of Solitude during the
Stabby quest.
Dark Brotherhood. Yeah, the Stabby quest. Mm-hmm. And then there's another one that you can just kind of stumble into. I still don't think there's anything that leads into it. There's one in Windhelm where you go into like the trade company, and
Yep.
they're just like, we need your help with this thing, and then you just end up on another island somewhere because the ship took you there.
Yeah. I mean, Anniversary Edition also made a like player home ship as well with the skeleton one.
Yeah. And
Caedo has actually just linked me a map of parts of Tamriel with Hammerfell.
Yeah, there's a peninsula there.
Yeah, I forgot about Stros Mackay, which is my favourite part of Hammerfell, because that's kind of like the pirate-themed-ish
a lot of water there,
sort of area. And yeah, I love pirate stuff. I'm from, well, not quite pirate country, but smuggler country at the very least.
Yeah.
My ancestors were less interested in the fighting part of being a pirate and more interested in the, hey, we just steal the stuff and get paid? That seems a lot easier than fighting people for it.
Yeah. I mean, bringing water combat back would be kind of cool, too. Like, being able to fight underwater.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Argonians need a win. I'll just say
yes. I just watched the first episode of your Skyrim Survival Mode Challenge run, and you do bring up that Argonians in Survival Mode are terrible. And yes,
they are.
True. Bethesda, for some reason, was like, okay, every other race either is the same as before or gets a bonus for Survival Mode, but Argonians are worse in Survival
They're
Mode.
cold-blooded. They are screwed in the cold. Like, completely.
The cold is one of the hardest things to deal with.
Uh-huh.
Like, sleeping and eating, you can do that literally anywhere, but the further north you go, the colder it gets. And once again, the main quest takes you real far north, like jumping over or having to swim through icy cold water.
Or up mountains.
Which is just, oh man. Yeah, don't play as an Argonian in survival mode.
No, unfortunate.
Yeah, if Argonians... well, this is another thing, actually. I'd like them to do not necessarily a rework, but I want to see more done with the different racial abilities and traits and stuff, and a bit more balancing and trying to make them... Because I think Skyrim did a fairly good job, but I think the problem in Skyrim, and what always happens, to be fair, is like a few of the races are like the strongest. Like you're a high elf, a Breton, an orc. Those are kind of like the big three. Because they just... A Breton gets like magic resistance, high elves get extra magicka, so good for mages, and orcs have like the racial ability which deals like double damage and takes halves, which is wild. I mean, like, the other races aren't necessarily bad, but they're always going to be worse.
What's the... Hold on, what's the Redguard one in Skyrim?
Adrenaline Rush. It sucks.
Is it bad? Is it bad in Skyrim?
It's fast stamina regen, but it's not like vegetable soup, where it's constant. It technically keeps going, but if you bottom out, I seem to recall that it still takes a moment. So it's like a slightly worse version of vegetable soup, because it's like you're going to use up all the stamina anyway, because of the way stamina use is done. But it's like 60 seconds of just fast stamina
it's still
regen.
a worse... Yeah, it's still a worse than vegetable soup.
Yeah.
Because it's only 60 seconds.
Yeah. And like
compared
having...
to 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's vegetable soup might bring you back just 1 point of stamina in the same time that a Redguard could get back like 5 points of stamina, but doing anything with that stamina will instantly use it up. So it's like, well, there's no point in that. Yeah, Redguards need a huge buff, especially if the next game is in Hammerfell. It's going to suck if Redguards are the same as
really
what they are
sad, because the Adrenaline Rush in Oblivion is awesome.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a case where if we look back throughout all of the games, it's basically all of the overpowered races suddenly got nerfed to hell, and all of the weak ones suddenly got buffed a bunch. And I imagine Bethesda will just keep going back and forth. So in the next game, in fact, I bet you Argonians, Redguards, and... what's the third weakest? I feel like
Wood
Argonians and I was thinking Wood Elves. Like, they're not actually that bad, and they do start with, like, bonuses to archery, sneak, alchemy, like, very much a stealth archer playstyle.
Right.
Which is something. But yeah, maybe Wood Elves. Imperials aren't that great.
They're not really either. I think just having, like, their manipulation moves that are exclusive to them, usually, because, like, the Imperials are, like, oh, you can charm or, like, you know, make somebody, you know, friendly or whatever. And the Wood Elves are like nature based, like you can charm an animal or calm an animal or something like that. Just let that scale, like, or not have a level cap, like, because it stops being useful at a certain
you
point.
have hit the nail on the head. I want them to remove, like, the level cap sort of thing for spells and abilities and stuff like that, because Bethesda cannot do it right. They just cannot do it. It makes it so there's such weird sweet spots to be in, where, like, oh, okay, an illusion mage is really powerful early on, and then suffers in the mid-game, and then later on becomes good, and then even later on becomes completely worthless.
Well, I was gonna say, like, Oblivion did it well. Like,
I mean...
like, it good enough, because, like...
Yeah, I'd say good enough there. I still have...
Because
I hate level scaling. I should just be completely upfront here. I hate all the level scaling, all of that stuff. But...
The spell effectiveness system that Oblivion had was a way to make sure that if you were going full caster mode, you would have, like, your spells could be uncapped. Yeah. Like, if you decided to wear cloth and be a caster, like, your spells could be uncapped. But if you decided to wear armor, your spells would not be as effective. But of course, you'd be better protected and be able to be a spellblade more so. So, but Skyrim did away with the effectiveness part, and that sucks.
Yeah,
because
then they had to do with a rework potentially.
Because then they had to pick and choose like where this you know spell would stop being effective or whatever, and it just I mean, like you were saying, it just stopped. It didn't work really in Skyrim because it didn't have anything kind of managing that.
There's also a slight problem with the being able to level infinitely, because a lot of enemies will just scale non-stop. Fallout 4 is actually the one where I notice this the most, where if you play as a super high-level character in Fallout 4, you'll run into super mutants who have, like, 9 million hit points, and obviously the weapons don't scale that high, so it takes forever to kill them, but it also takes forever for the enemy to kill you, and there's always been a bit of a bullet sponge and attack sponge problem
very
with
much so.
Bethesda games. But
and once you hit that point, you need to have some sort of damage loop going on that'll cause you to melt the enemy at some point.
Yeah,
which is annoying too.
Balancing these games is always difficult. Like, I don't want to say this is an easy thing, but there does need to be something done there.
Like, I will say, like, I love melting an enemy. Just like, you know, I love playing Borderlands. Boss melting is so satisfying sometimes. But if everything needs to be melted, then there's a problem.
Yeah. And I am just going to say, I want them to do away with level scaling. I instead would much prefer a game that has, like, first off, just, like, different areas are more or less challenging. That's always going to be a bit of a thing. But also maybe even, like, tiers of enemies, which Bethesda is familiar with. Like, we have...
Yeah.
You have Bandit, Bandit Outlaw, Bandit Looter, Bandit Chief. Like, we have these different tiers already. So maybe just change that, and then you can still have a bit of level scaling of a sort, where it's like, okay, up until level 10, you're mostly dealing with bandits, and we won't spawn in any bandit chiefs except for, like, these few set ones here and there. But then once you reach level 10, occasionally some areas will get bandit chiefs. Reach level 30, oh, there's a bandit chief in every bandit outpost. Like, you can still do a bit of that stuff to make it so it's not a complete cakewalk, but just having, like, the... I was checking Alduin's stats the other day for, like, some research I was doing, and it's like, he's just, like, 5 levels above the player no matter what. And it's like, well, that kind of just becomes stupid at a certain point. And Skyrim in particular actually had the problem where if you leveled abilities or skills, sorry, that you weren't using much, or non-combat ones, then you became weaker as you leveled up. Which Caedo is going to be dealing with a lot in his run. And
you saw me do it.
I haven't seen the second episode yet, but you talked about it in the first episode, and every time you picked up a skill book, it hurt me. Especially because you were... God, Caedo in his first episode of his challenge run was talking about, like, as I level up and stuff, enemies will get stronger. And then immediately you'd be like, oh, a skill book, let's read it. Oh, it levels something I don't care about. And you just did that like 5 or 6 times, and then at the end of the episode, or like 5 minutes before the end, you were like, I probably shouldn't have read so many skill books.
It's the curse of reading.
Yes. But,
I must read books that I see.
Yeah. I would like them to do away with level scaling, because I even made a video about it at one point, and everyone who was coming up with ideas on how to make level scaling work, even the good ideas were like 500 times more work than just not having level scaling, and with no real benefit. Like, the idea is to always make the game challenging, but that doesn't work in these games as well, where you can always find a way to be broken and overpowered.
I think it's better to, like, have the... I mean, like you were saying with the, like, bandits as the example, like, having it go up to chief, but then just giving them more things in their arsenal. Like, like, if they're... I don't know... like a dark elf, like they have like a modified version of their racial ability.
Yeah,
like,
the flame cloak
thing. Or like if they're a Nord, they can like summon ice wolves or something. It's not. I'd like to say it's not complicated, but I haven't even made any mods, so like
it is somewhat complicated. And as someone who has, not for a video game, but for TTRPGs, written a lot of variants of enemies and stuff, it is still a fair bit of work, but it is so worth it, especially in a video game where you get the visual identity of characters, which I think is something Bethesda could probably do with working on a bit as well, because they do tend to just stack on a name onto a thing, and it's like, well, this bandit looks the same as that bandit, but one of them's like 50 levels higher, which is sometimes a problem. But if they can get real good visual identity, and I think having, like, you've got, like, 10 races to work with, and with Caedo's idea of having each race kind of having a special ability, that could be really good.
Yeah.
Like, that is something
that would be on
so
top
cool.
of, like, whatever gear you give them, the enchantments on that gear. Like, if it's quest-based, it could be themed at that quest. Like, there's so many freaking things that could be added to make it more interesting beyond just being a sponge.
Yes.
It's... And I mean, we still go back to Starfield probably a few more times in this episode, but when fighting the Starborn towards the end, like they had their own powers, and they were very much attempting to do some like boss arena fight type stuff.
Yeah.
Which I want to see more and better.
Yes.
Fallout 76 is a better example of boss fights done a lot better, because a lot of the cryptids, the bigger cryptids, have their own mechanics and things that they do.
Man.
Unfortunately, level 1,000 players plus can melt them regardless. So
Yes.
that's a whole different problem that we won't run into, hopefully, in the Elder Scrolls 6, is other players coming in with a, you know, a
You don't have to worry about 6 overpowered players all at once. At worst, in a single-player game, there is 1 overpowered player.
And that should be you. Yeah,
I want to quickly go down the list of the different races and give each of them ability, because I really like that. Your whole Nords with Ice Wolves that they get, Dark Elves with Flame Cloak. I think Imperial should buff all of the other bandits around them. Like, they have kind of an encourage effect, where all the other bandits they're with get, like, bonus stamina or maybe, like, a little bit of damage extra or something like that. So they are kind of more of a support role rather than just lots of damage themselves. And Orcs could be, like, the big DPS sort of enemies you face, where their thing is they just go into the Berserker Fury, and maybe they, like, get a red glow or something, and during that time, they'll deal tons of damage, and you either have the choice of kind of, like, staying away from them and waiting for it to run out, or fighting a very tough fight against them.
Well, maybe like the trade-off of them doing tons of damage as they slow down.
Yeah.
Like, their movement speed slows down.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it to be too slow down, but if they get, like, even like a 10% reduction to movement speed, so that the player character is faster than them.
Yeah.
So that you then do get the option of avoiding them if you want to. But yeah,
that is something that gave me whiplash when I went back to Skyrim after playing the Oblivion Remaster, because the Oblivion Remaster, enemies' run speed was, like, actually functioning instead of just keeping pace with you constantly. So as soon as I went back to Skyrim, enemies all kept pace with me, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
So having that kind of scale too, would be cool. Yeah.
High Elves obviously would just have magic bombardments. I'm actually thinking of, like, Total War Warhammer 3, where you can get, like, these fancy battlefield spells where, like, maybe the High Elf chiefs just have, like, an enhanced version of a regular spell. Like, rather than just a fireball, they, like, summon, like, 4 or 5 fireballs to shoot down from the sky.
Oh yeah, just, like, amplify all of their spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Wood Elves, I'm not sure exactly how lore-friendly this is, but I like the idea of them having, like, was it Tangle Root or something? The spell in Avowed, where basically roots shot up from the ground. Like, the Wood Elves could have that one, and they could potentially hold you in place, and then they get a chance to shoot you.
And that would make them the most broken race in the game, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how much of this I'd want for the player character versus the, whatchamacallit, enemies.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Though, I was thinking about, like, skill trees and stuff, and I do wonder if, like, we obviously have vampire skill trees and werewolf skill trees in Skyrim. Maybe each race, as well as there being the standard skill trees, gets their own race-specific one.
That'd be
which is
so
also
cool,
a thing
dude.
I've been writing for a TTRPG with some of Mind is There, where, like, Nords get a bunch of frost-based effects and maybe stuff to make them better melee combatants. High Elves obviously have more of a magic-themed one, so that could be bonus magicka regen, or access to these, like, enhanced versions of spells which cost more magicka. Or, I mean, this is also another side thing, I do always enjoy a miscast in any magic-based system. They're always just fun. So,
like wild magic kind of miscast?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different systems to it. Like, it's...
Because that's what came to mind to me, because wild magic can do all kinds of funny crap.
Yeah,
so
I do enjoy a fun thing, but even the most basic miscasts, which I think are once again from Total War Warhammer 3, are you still cast the spell, but you deal damage to yourself. Like, even that is something, where it's just like, there's a negative effect to dealing with the supernatural or unknown forces. I think any of that stuff could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, Khajiit. If I fought a Khajiit Bandit Chief.
Yeah, see, this is a problem. I'm not too sure with the Khajiit.
He steals all my money and disappears.
You know what? Genuinely, having them have a mug ability...
Do like a hide and seek.
Sort of like...
kind of great, actually.
They just hit you and then take, like, a dozen gold or something. It doesn't need to be a lot, because I feel like even a small amount will send the player back, but it then goes into their inventory. That would be quite a lot of fun. Because then Khajiits as well could be enemies where it's like, you kind of have to chase after them, or else you're going to lose stuff from the combat. Whereas oftentimes in Skyrim, you can kind of just, oh, an enemy shot me a couple of times with a bow or anything, I can just run away. Especially if you're, like, on horseback. That's a very easy instance where it's like, yeah, I'm just going to charge through these bandits because I'll take a bit of damage, but I'll just heal up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Khajiit's having like a mug ability as the bandit chief could be fun, especially if the AI of the NPCs was then programmed that they basically fight you for a little bit and then they run away. So they don't try and just finish you off like what normally really happens. Funny. Yeah, I'd like that.
And they'd be like hiding in containers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
I'm trying to think of the Red Guard now. What I do with them. I'm really not sure for Red Guards. Like, I'm hoping if the Elder Scrolls 6 is set in Hammerfell that we get a lot more Red Guard lore. Because every time I hear Red Guard lore, it sounds really interesting. Like, arguably one of the most interesting races in the game. But we get so little of that in any of the games other than, like, Elder Scrolls adventure games. Which very few people have played.
Well, if I'm thinking Adrenaline Rush, like, thinking along the lines of Adrenaline Rush, I'm thinking, like, burst of strength, like, normal stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to perform. So I can imagine like throwing objects that are in the room at the player.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
That are large.
Yeah.
Not something they'd normally be able to pick up.
Yeah, I was worried you were going too close to the Orc one, but I quite like that.
Throwing other bandits.
I mean, I also like the idea of the Red Guards become like a FromSoft player character where they start just like rolling and then attacking and doing stuff like that.
That would be great,
like, extra
actually.
Acrobatic.
You just can't hit them because they're rolling too much.
Yeah, that'd be very funny. Especially if they then added in a thing where any Red Guards in heavy armor do what is called a fat roll in the Dark Souls series, where your character still does the roll, but it's in basically really slow motion.
Yeah. But it still has iframes.
Oh yeah, you still get a few iframes, of course. I'm trying to work out which ones we haven't done now.
Did we do Argonian? I mean,
no,
that's where we started with this.
Yeah, but Argonians suck, so it's difficult to be like, hey, maybe we just make them regular. Wow, that's already an improvement.
Making water combat possible across the board would be one.
Imagine if there was like a Argonian bandit camp underwater.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, this is a group of bandits which is fully made up of Argonians, so they do just stay under the water and attack you then. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Or, if Argonians were able to send slaughterfish and stuff at you. That works too.
Like do a little Aquaman kind of thing.
Yep.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Oh, we've not done a Breton one.
They're already OP.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem. We have the inverse to the Argonian problem.
Yeah.
I suppose Bretons could have it where, because they've got the magic absorb thing, maybe if they get hit with magic, especially elemental magic, then their weapon becomes that element.
Ooh.
So like you hit them with a firebolt and suddenly their swords on fire. I was
thinking of something similar actually. Are you familiar with Genesis from Final Fantasy VII?
Caedo, your Genesis.
No. Not me. No. In Crisis Core, I mean, he's not a beloved villain at all. But in the cutscene, I mean, the cutscenes were always awesome. So his thing when him and Angeal were sparring with Sephiroth on the Junon cannon, because why the frick not? One of his things was more like enchanting his weapon with magic.
Yeah.
And using it that way. I pretty sure that Force Bladers in Cabal Online were inspired by that. So what they do is they use one hand sword and have some sort of enchanted gem in their left hand, and they spread magic over their sword, and then they do those elemental attacks with that weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to imagine is, because the Breton is kind of geared towards being a spellblade just innately, doing something to that effect with any weapon type, any of the ones that they have, basically.
Mm-hmm. So
it could be a one-handed sword, but you could face off with a Breton that has like a battle axe or a bow, and they would enchant that weapon with an element. I don't know, maybe they'd have an awareness of like what element you would be more effective against you or something like that.
Yeah,
like something that a
good.
caster would know, you know.
Yep.
But I think that's it. I think that's all they should get.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, I also think there needs to be a bit of rebalancing just in general. Like, I've actually gotten to the race pages and stuff, and yeah, a lot of these even before survival mode, Argonians were just worse. Like, water breathing is kind of nice, and if there's actually enemies underwater, that immediately becomes a better thing rather than just a nice thing. But like, his skin is just like increases health regen, which only works outside of combat. In fact, that's something I'd like to see. I want health regen in Bethesda games to start working inside of combat. I'm okay with there being a modifier to it, like it heals half as quickly, but there's so many characters I've tried to make with, like, health regen as a central part, and it's never good in an actual fight. It saves you from using, like, potions or the healing spell outside of combat, but that's not a big deal. Like, health regen is such a weak thing inside of the Elder Scrolls because it doesn't work in combat.
Maybe like a customizable heal button.
Oh, you mean like there's a quick heal button you often get.
There's a quick heal button.
Like, you can choose what is your healing item.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice little
because we
quality,
have both food and potions that manage those things.
Yeah.
It have us sifting through. I'm thinking more like quality of life stuff at this point, but sifting through our menus less to like eat all of our food items at once.
I mean, an overhaul to the menu is going to be happening.
Yeah, absolutely. It may look like nice and clean, but functionally it sucks.
Yeah.
in Skyrim, that is. And I remember that being one of my first complaints in Starfield too. They just need like get some interface people on it. Like, some of it is jacked up and
Fallout 76 has a pretty good interface with the Pip-Boy. I do think it gets a bit cluttered, but that's also because 76 gives so much stuff.
They added more to it over time too.
Yeah.
Which is a big part of it too, is because the development was ongoing for years, which was helpful for like, you know, sorting through new items, because we got the new items tab several years in.
Yeah. There's been so many games which have added in a new items tab, but I really do hope it just becomes a standard thing for any game where you do a lot of picking up stuff. I've seen people play Elden Ring who played it at launch, where it apparently didn't have a new items tab, and then they're just amazed by it like several years later that they can find the item with such a weird name, especially because FromSoft menus are not easy to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, always a new item tab is good to have.
Yeah. So if the Elder Scrolls 6 is happening in Hammerfell, this is the place that I'm pretty sure Volendrung fell, is why it was named that. That
sounds like lore to me.
So maybe we could get more lore related to that, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, make Volendrung one of the most powerful Daedric artifacts too, as a result.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would make sense. And also, like, I don't know, give some room for other combat types to be better.
Yeah.
Besides just sword and board and dagger.
I do want a whole what do we call that? A rework to the combat system in Elder Scrolls 6, because God, yeah, I actually, by the time this is out, I'll have a video up called like 6 games to play while waiting for Elder Scrolls 6. And the first game I had on the list was Kingdoms of Amalur. And I do talk for a little while about like how, hey, this combat system's actually good. You don't just click and attack. And the most interesting thing you can do in melee combat in Skyrim is like shield bash, attack, shield bash, attack. That's like as complex as it gets, basically.
I mean, that's what you watched me do.
Yes.
In Pine Watch with that one outlaw. So I'm just like, well, time to eat my soup. Here we go.
Yeah. And it's such a boring way to do what should be an interesting playstyle. but Amala has like combo moves where you like attack, 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 and it's different attacks each time, or attack, attack, pause, heavy attack. Like, having combo moves I think would be very good. I'm also always down for a kick mechanic. I think that's a very fun thing to do, especially if it's something that can be like upgraded in some ways, so that like, oh, you just basic kick staggers them a little bit, but if you get like a big kick, you knock them down.
Animation canceling with spells is something Amuler has too, which would be awesome.
Yep.
Just saying.
Like,
because that lets you extend your combos in Amuler too.
Yeah. I also think a dodge button is probably going to happen. I know at this point there'll be some people who are like, oh, you're trying to make it into a FromSoft game. We don't want to be rolling about the place, but so many games have some sort of dodge button. And Skyrim already had enemies which had a dodge like effect. Like, you shoot at an enemy and either they can't do anything to dodge it or they perfectly teleport out of the way.
Yeah, well, you do get a roll too in Skyrim.
Technically, yeah, in the sneak one.
Yeah.
But it's not effective for combat, which is annoying.
No, because it's forward.
Yeah.
Which is
and you
really
have to already
funny,
be crouched.
because like, it doesn't go backwards, but it's really funny that Oblivion let you do that. Like, even before the remaster came out, it let you dodge backwards.
Yeah.
Which is so wild that like that didn't carry over to Skyrim at all.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
A whole combat rework needs to basically be done to make it so it's not so simplistic.
I
That is
do
one
like
of the worst things about Skyrim.
I do like how Avowed did it, where
Yes.
like it's if you're going forward, it's a jump, or stationary, it's a jump, but if you're going backward or the side, it's a dodge. And like, that is such a like. Sometimes it can screw you over if you try to side jump off, on a platform or something like that. Sometimes it can mess you up, but most of the time it's a pretty nice system.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine a better way to make use of something that's already there. So, or the button combination, that is. So
Yeah.
on top of the improving combat across the board kind of thing, which we very much hope for. I want spellmaking again. That's what I want.
I feel like they don't even need to do spellmaking as good as Oblivion for it still to be a positive improvement.
Yeah.
If it's even just like, if it's like, you can combine 2 spell effects together to make a new spell. Even something as simple as that would still be a nice thing to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, just, because if you just have like Firebolt and Ice Spike, you're just like, I want to combine these 2 spells. And it's like,
Shock and Soul Trap.
Or Shock and Soul Trap.
If you're playing as a pure mage and you want to Soul Trap things, you have to cast the Soul Trap spell and then switch to a thing that does damage to attack with. And yeah, it's spellmaking was nice. I do understand kind of why they got rid of it in Skyrim, because I think in Oblivion it was kind of off the rails to some degree and could get a bit ludicrous. But I think they also worried too much about players who break the game and just decided to get rid of it, because I
think they should stop worrying about players breaking the game, because they're going to.
It's always going to happen.
Like,
I do think they still need to try and balance the game somewhat. I have so many vivid memories of being like, Skyrim Anniversary Edition is unbelievably broken, and people being like, screw you, you're a terrible person because you think developers should try and make a vaguely balanced game. And it's like, no. Trust me, everyone wants a balanced game, even the people who say they don't want it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about a game which has difficulty settings.
As a fellow terrible person, I also like a game that actually is challenging for a good chunk of it until I'm a god.
Yeah. Game balance is very, very important, and so many gamers hate it. Even though they'd actually be annoyed if games were all just terribly unbalanced. People are like, this game's boring. I hate gamers. I hate gamers, Caedo. Why does every single one of them suck?
Why does every gamer just not want to have fun? Come on, gamers. Yeah. What else? How about the Dwemer?
Man, I don't know about the Dwemer. My opinions change of them quite a bit. The problem is...
Do they stay a mystery? Or should we get a little morsel? Or get to actually find out what happened?
Here's the thing. I think it's best if the Dwemer stay a mystery, because I don't believe Bethesda will do a good enough job making them interesting if there's not mystique around them.
Okay.
I don't think the Dwemer in Elder Scrolls are actually that interesting a race, especially because they're not dwarves.
No.
They are just another race of elves.
Yes.
There's not, besides them being like, oh, they were technologically advanced, they made automatons, like, that stuff is interesting, but I fear that if Bethesda brings them back, or just explains what happened with them, then it'll just be like, yeah, they're just another race of people, and they messed up, they teleported away or whatever. And I don't think they'll be that interesting without mystery and stuff around them.
Okay. Just checking.
That's okay. I can rant about them more if you want, but I'm trying not to piss off the people who enjoy the lore too much.
What kind of... Because dragons were, the big bad enemy in Skyrim.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be a big bad in Hammerfell? Do you think dragons will be a thing still? Or...
I'm not sure if dragons will still be a thing. They could definitely still have dragons, maybe as a very rare thing, but it's like, then you're bumping up against the lore a little bit. I'm sure people will be like, oh, you're retconning it if you still have dragons. Because they were like, the dragons all went away, or no, they're dead, and then they're resummoned by Alduin. If you destroyed Alduin, then why are dragons back? But I feel like you could have a few dragons in the game, and it still work, but you couldn't have them be a big enemy type. I would imagine that, like, the big enemies in Elder Scrolls 6 are going to be Falmor, because I feel like that was set up very much in Skyrim.
Oh, yeah, for
sure.
Like
a whole conflict with them. And also I feel like undead, because there's this whole sort of taboo thing in Redguard culture about people who, like, deal with the undead, and I think that's really interesting. I need to do a quick bit of Googling so I can check what it actually is.
I was kind of hoping to find some, like, enemy types.
Oh, the Ashabar, roughly translated as unclean people, are an ancient and secretive tribe of Redguards who inhabit the northern wastes of Hammerfell, roaming the Alakir Desert. They are shunned by the Redguard society due to their unclean interactions with the risen dead, as they disregard religious taboos and destroy the undead, slaying with great skill what might be honoured ancestors returned. Yeah, there's a whole interesting thing where Redguard treat undead not necessarily as enemies, even if they are, like, mindless zombies and stuff. They don't seem to be like, oh, this is just an enemy to kill. And if you do fight against undead, suddenly you're, like, doing this taboo and you're, like, not seen as a good person anymore, even if you're saving someone's life doing it. And I think that's, like, a really interesting part of Redguard lore, where you have this necessary task to take place. It's almost like a Witcher. How the Witchers, like, are seen as terrible people even though they're doing good things for you. Like, I think it's a very interesting part of the lore, and I'd love to see that be a big focus of the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the ESO enemies seem to be just undead. So, it doesn't seem like... Seems like they got a lot to work with.
I mean, Elder Scrolls Online...
are a lot to come up with.
Both add so much to the lore, and I feel like has to disregard it due to being an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
But... Yeah.
It's, so maybe like desert-dwelling critters, like lizards, snakes, scorpions.
I mean, we could also just play ESO in the Hammerfell region and see what enemies are there, and there's a good chance it'll just take all the same stuff.
Maybe. I mean, that's why I was looking it up, though.
Yeah.
So I looked up Hammerfell creatures, and I just saw a bunch of undead.
Yeah.
And one lizard named Fidget.
Fidget, that will be the big
It's a
bad.
gecko. My bad.
Oh, yeah, geckos will be the big bad enemy. But...
what about Sadia?
Oh, the possible princess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually quite like that being a mystery inside of Skyrim, whether or not she was good.
Okay. The house she was a part of, though.
Yeah, I do think they should show up and stuff. And maybe, like, hidden really well is, like, some acknowledgement of if she did sell them out to the Falmor, or if she was, like, hiding. Like, yeah, it's It could be interesting.
Noble House Suda is a noble house in Hammerfell.
I would almost be willing to bet money that the noble houses in Hammerfell will be sort of like the Jarls and the Holds in Skyrim, where it has that sort of thing where each region is controlled by a different house. I would like to see some mechanic to do with that, because the closest we got in Skyrim was the Civil War, which is terrible and kind of sucks, unfortunately. Yeah. But I would like to see, like, influence. If you do a bunch of quests for a house, then they gain more power and have more standing and stuff, and that could maybe change what sort of enemies you see out and about, or even the ending of the game. Oh, that's a big one, actually. I want multiple endings.
Oh.
Because I think Fallout 4 actually did it really well. I think the Fallout 4 different endings are a good way of just having it be like, yeah, there are different paths you can take. Specifically because I know people always focus on the ending as just like, no, I want the ending slideshow. But Fallout 4 did a very good job of giving you different quests towards the end, so it was a different gameplay experience
maybe
when you did the main story.
Yeah, maybe like a little bit from Fallout 4, a little bit from Cyberpunk, and I know I'm speaking about it in a favorable way.
Yeah, my face just grimaced for a moment.
Sorry. Yep. I'll talk about how trash it is later. So when you hit the end of those games, you have, a faction you have joined or made friends with. And Cyberpunk did a little bit different, where there's one bad guy. There's one main bad that you're dealing with. But you can choose basically whoever you've made friends with or allied yourself with. You can be like, oh, I feel like I should call them to help me take care of this. And that completely changes, like, based on, who you call to assist you, because then they go with you to the end of the game. Until the credits, basically.
Yeah, look, your idea might be good, Caedo, but I'm still bitter about the end of Cyberpunk, because I was like, I don't want any of my friends to get hurt, I can do this on my own. And then everyone hated me, because I was like, hey, I don't want you to die. And they were like, you are the worst person ever, I don't believe you'd say that to me. Gah.
Yeah, well, if that was Pan Am, like, she's always that way, and kind of a snooty piece of crap, so... Just because she's got a nice booty doesn't mean she isn't an awful person.
Every single person, you're like, no, I don't want you to fight this megacorp with me and die a pointless death. They were like, how dare you? Why is everyone... And then at the end, I was like, you know what, I'll do the option which makes it seem like I might be able to keep on playing, and it's like, no, now you've made everything worse and you're in space and everything sucks. Don't you hate yourself? Aren't you terrible? I hate how Cyberpunk is just so relentlessly kicking you in the genitals with no matter what you do. Like, I get that it's supposed to be dystopian, but the fact that from the end of Act 1 until the end of the game, it constantly just tells you suck and everything you do sucks.
Yeah.
It's just unrelenting.
Like, no matter your decision, you're still trash.
Yeah. I don't want Elder Scrolls to do that.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I don't want Elder Scrolls to kick me in the genitals too often.
Okay.
It can do
Not
it once
too
or
often.
twice. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I don't want every mission to be like, oh my god, why did you do this? Like, I'm going to praise Bethesda again. I think Bethesda actually does quite a good job at making, like, a few unpopular quests, like the slaying of Parthenax, be, like, this big thing that people hate, but I think they hate it in a good way. I think you need, like, the NPCs who suck and the quests that you don't want to do because you're attached to these characters and don't want to go against them. I think you need a handful of those in the game, even if they are unpopular, just because they do enrich the overall experience. And it's one of the things of not doing a certain bit of content is sometimes as rewarding as actually doing some content. And I hope that philosophy is actually included in the game.
Well, I hope Delphine's not.
You know what?
Because she sucks.
Delphine's not as bad
No!
as people make her out to be.
Nope, she sucks.
No, she's not as bad. She might suck, but she's not as bad. People are like, oh my god, she's the worst character ever. And I'm like, you know what? She only kind of sucks.
She's not the worst ever. She does suck, though.
Yeah. I feel like she's overhated. I'm gonna say it. I feel like she's overhated. She's not half as bad. Especially when you consider the fact that Parthenax is essentially a war criminal hiding from his crimes. And she's, like, we should get rid of him because he did tons of bad stuff and is like a mass murderer. People always forget that this isn't just, oh, I'm a friendly dragon who also voices Mario.
No, I mean, I know, I know, but he's spending the time atoning and also,
atoning? He's just chilling on a mountain.
He's helping the Greybeards.
The Greybeards who hate everyone and suck and make it so Ulfric Stormcloak has big powers that he can start a civil war with. The Greybeards do not do positive stuff for Skyrim.
What?
Like, as someone who's been going back through the main quest line, I'm like, man, the Greybeards are just kind of, at best, neutral.
More like the Dumbbeards.
Yeah. Actually, I think Einberth, the one that begins like EI, I like him. He's a good Greybeard. But Armgear, like the one you actually get to talk to, kind of sucks. He even goes on about like, oh, maybe the world should die. That sounds like a good thing to me. He's like, he sucks. He sucks, Caedo. The Greybeards are like pro end of the world. They're basically just a doomsday cult.
Nice. Okay, so the Greybeard should come back, but Delphine shouldn't.
No. I mean, hot take, I think basically none of the NPCs from Skyrim should come back, except obviously Mike the Liar.
I mean, he's going to.
Yeah.
He's going to. He will.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be there. All of the Daedric princes should be there.
Yes.
Of course.
They should be there. I'm just... Sheogorath and his cheese. People are so annoying about it.
Yep. Yep.
And I
think it's been Joker-fied a little bit. Heavily. I think it gives me the same vibes as like the Joker lovers, the ones that are like sometimes too into the Joker, you know?
Yeah.
That's that's the vibe I get for people who love Sheogorath too much.
Yeah, it bugs me as well, because I didn't play the Shivering Isles DLC until after I'd already been beaten over the head with Uncle Sheo likes cheese memes, which everyone thought was the height of humour. And then you find out that, like, the Sheogorath and Jigalag, like, these two opposite sides of order and chaos, there's actually quite an interesting bit of lore and fun stuff could be done with it. But then everyone's just like, cheese!
Cheese! Yeah.
Whereas actually it's quite a tragic tale and does... The insanity and mental health side of it, I don't think is that well done, but that's not surprising. It
shows its age.
Yeah, you know what I do want? I want Sheogorath to come back, and I want a serious Sheogorath storyline. I want it to be sad. I want people to cry. I want it to be like this proper tragic tale where Sheogorath is maybe doing the ho 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 cheese 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 and then fully breaks down and starts weeping and just has like these pulsing things where Jigalag is trying to come back and they can't decide whether or not they should form back into this one powerful being or if that's going to punish them again and feel like they're trapped in this thing where they have to be these two separate entities that go to these extremes and can't be normal in any way, or else they'll be destroyed by the gods again. Like, I think that would be a fun way to do a Sheogorath questline.
I was thinking about Haskell getting kidnapped.
That feels like
and Sheogorath not knowing how to handle it.
Okay.
But yours was good too.
I feel like they are two very different approaches, and I feel like your one is way more likely.
By pirates.
Especially because the most recent ESO trailer literally has Sheogorath with, like, cheese and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a meme. That's all he is.
Yeah. And then you'd be able to go on pirate adventures with Sheogorath as part of your crew.
To be fair, I do want pirate stuff in this. Especially if Stros Mackay is, like, a place we can go to. Yeah.
That'd be sick. Yeah, because boats have, like, always been incorporated in some way as, like, a form of travel, but it's just... we need to actually pilot them or drive them or what's the word? Boat them.
Boat them, yes.
We need to boat the ships. We need to ship the boats.
Yeah.
I know nautical terms. Weigh anchor and hoist jibs.
I weighed the anchor, and I've got some giblets for you. The anchor's £20. Here are your plate of giblets.
Yes. Thank you, Constable Sergeant.
Yep, that's a ship rank. I'd be a cabin boy. I know it. I'm not good on the water.
What else is there?
I mean, I'm wondering
Can we
what
have
they'll do with
unarmed?
like skill. Unarmed would be nice.
Thing again?
Yeah, I was actually wondering what they'll do with like skill trees and leveling and all of that, because I feel like it changes with every Elder Scrolls game and every Bethesda game, in fact. Like, it changes quite drastically, I feel like. If you look at the changes between like Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim and how leveling is done, or like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, like leveling and perks and all of that stuff does change quite a bit.
It's broader audience appeal primarily, make it more easy to understand. But how about honing in on one of the main complaints I had about, Starfield and Fallout 4 in general was like some of the skills don't need that many ranks or perks.
Yeah.
Because there's no, it seems like in Starfield especially, like some of the things that we would have by default got turned into something you unlock, and it's really frustrating.
Yes.
Like stealth and
see, I was thinking I kind of like some of that to some degree.
Yes.
I like that they made it so that you unlock stuff which is actually helpful. The problem is they had to take away all the helpful stuff because they couldn't come up with anything new besides boost packs, which also was a perk, which doesn't make much sense.
No. No, the first rank should have been default, and then the following ranks should have been the actual perks, because you should be able to use a boost pack no matter what. You're traveling through space.
Yeah. I would like skills to be a bit more balanced overall, but I know that's not going to be the case, because it's always the instance where Bethesda makes a bunch of perks which just kind of suck, and then a bunch of perks which are basically essential. Like, the damage perks are very much a stereotypical one, which I do think Starfield actually did kind of better, where they did improve on the damage perks a little bit, made them a bit more interesting rather than just 20, 40, 60, 80, 100% more damage. And, like, even Fallout 4 as well, they added in, like, some side effects to it and stuff. But I'd certainly like to see them make it so you don't just feel like, oh, I'm a one-handed warrior, I have to go down Armsman sort of route. I mean, all of the thief trees pretty much need a overhaul. Like, speech could have been so much better, especially a game where shouts are, like, the main special power, and speech had nothing to do with shouts, and I'm like, come on, you could have done something there. I know there's popular mods, people are already in the comments, I can hear them typing, being like, actually, if you play with this mod, then it's good, therefore Bethesda doesn't need to do anything.
Yeah. Mods
Checkmate.
fix the game.
You know what? No mods. Elder Scrolls 6, no mods. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, don't incorporate the creation bullcrap until after you're done.
Oh yeah, okay, no, I'm sure they definitely won't try and sell us creations immediately.
That's like impossible wish, but like, holy crap, I really would rather have a fully finished game, and then they worry about the additional content, not at the same time.
Yeah, because I'd also love to have more visual customization stuff in the Elder Scrolls. Like, different paints and armor and things like that are stuff that I really get into, especially as, like, a build maker and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If I can just paint armor a different color, I can make an entirely different sort of character. But I feel like, if we get that, it's going to be, oh, you want red paint? Well, that's going to cost $1 in the Creation Club store. Yeah. Oh, you want black paint for this one specific armor? That's another $1, and... yeah, I feel like they're just going to drip feed it that way, so it costs like $500 to get a full paint job for all the different armors.
Yeah. Well, the episode didn't come out yet where I talk about it, but how about less procedural stuff in general?
Yeah. I feel like the one place they can get away with procedural stuff is in like Oblivion Realms or Daedric sort of things, because they're supposed to be kind of weird and wacky. But even then, you want a limit to it.
Yeah.
Because I think even Elder Scrolls Oblivion went a little too far with it. Like, I think they only just stepped over the line, but I think there were just too many different variants on the Oblivion gates. Maybe that's also because the Oblivion gates were boring. Maybe if they were actually interesting,
they got repetitive.
Stuff was,
yes.
Yeah.
And when I say procedural stuff, I mean also like loot-based stuff as well.
Oh yeah.
Like,
legendary system sucks.
Yep.
That needs to be stated, obviously.
But when you'd go into an Oblivion Gate, you would have to get the oh my god, what is the word?
The orb of keeping everything togetherness.
The orb of anchor the tower ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my god, I have to look it up.
Okay. While you're looking it up, I will say I want actual proper uniques. Like, there are so many good uniques in Skyrim, but from that game onwards, we did see an over-reliance on, like, the legendary system and random loot and stuff. But having stuff like, Mehrunes Razor and Volendrung and, like, the Elder Scrolls has baked in with Daedric artifacts and things, like, really cool uniques. And I'd like to see new uniques as well. And I do think they're obviously going to keep the enchanting system and all of that. But I don't want there just to be an overabundance of, oh god, I hope they don't do, like, the multiple star legendary stuff as well. Bethesda, don't ruin this. Both of our livelihoods rely on this game basically being good.
Yep.
And I don't trust Bethesda to not be like, hey, what if we threw in more RNG and made you pay for content?
Yeah.
How about that? Huh?
Sigil Stone was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's what I said. Orb of keeping everything togetherness.
Oh, yeah, orb of ball.
I pronounce it differently because I'm British.
That is, yeah. Yes. It's the British accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so part of the problem with the Oblivion Gates was also that the Sigil Stones were randomized too. So even if you ran it very fast, which you can for like all of them, if you ran it very fast to get up to the tower, at the top of the tower and take the Sigil Stone, it would still give you a random stone that you may find completely useless.
Yeah.
Because what they do, if you're not familiar, is they give you a one-time enchantment on whatever you want. And this can be Feather, which increases your K weight. It can be like resistance to an element. It can be Shield, which is one of the most powerful effects in the entire game. And various, like, and applying it to a weapon or armor, like, kind of, it's themed too. Like, so if it was like Fire Shield, it would be a fire damage on a weapon. But it would be randomized. So you may not get the things that you want. Like if you're a warrior, you could get like Magicka max increase, and you're just like, well, that's freaking useless. So having that kind of honed down into like somehow manipulating it, or maybe it has a pool that you can select from or something like that. I'm thinking along the lines of that specific. I mean,
I'd
scenario.
even just go with, in that specific scenario, have each Oblivion Gate have a set Sigil Stone. So, like, this is the Coral Sigil Stone. This is the Shadenhall Sigil Stone. Man, it's going to be way too long to think of literally any other city name. I would just have them each be individual. I think I'm more on board with the no RNG stuff. Just, like, we don't need it. It doesn't actually enrich the gameplay experience. I am super against it.
Well, magical items are still
I have already talked about that, and like it's nice to have some of them, but I also I feel like when talking about the Bethesda stuff I need to go further in the no RNG direction, because we've already seen Bethesda doesn't even know what the word unique means.
Yes.
So I feel like I need to beat it into them. No RNG, no RNG, and then they'll go like, I hear what you're saying, some RNG, got it.
Yeah. So, along the lines of no procedural stuff, I obviously don't want the procedural dungeons that Starfield had, because they're all cookie cutter. We don't want that kind of thing in an Elder Scrolls game. I feel like we want, handcrafted dungeons that have a story, and it's in just this one spot. It doesn't like move to another location the next time you play it. That's pointless.
You went through Pine Watch, and I was like, it's fun seeing Pine Watch and the whole story that happens there with the bandits fighting each other, and this woman who decided to be a bandit and send home money, and there's actual character to it.
She has daddy issues.
If that showed up in like 3 separate locations, I'd be like, well, now it's just generic. It's no longer like this character who has their own life going on.
And that's what Starfield did, because those procedurally generated dungeons had notes of their own too. But the
Yeah.
fifth or sixth time you've stumbled across that same note, you're like, well, why am I here?
Yeah, why did scientist number 47 die 50 times throughout the galaxy to the same terramorph?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that's not the way to do it.
Yep.
Oblivion gates are much closer to, a way of doing that, because they are, their own contained thing that have things that are only exclusive to that zone.
Yeah.
And like everything else outside of it should be made to look cool, like Skyrim dungeons.
It is wild to me that Starfield had a "we're changing the entire universe" mechanic in it, and it didn't use that instead to just mix up the procedural stuff. And they could have had it so in the first playthrough, all the procedural stuff is in one location, and then whenever you go through the Unity, it just changes the location, but there's still only one of them. So this time it takes place somewhere different. Like, they could have done that, and that at least would have worked. I'm not talking about Starfield. I'm not going down that route. Instead, I will say, one thing I've actually wanted for a while is, like, limb damage, sort of, in Elder Scrolls, because we've not seen that. Like, being able to damage arms, legs, body, and head, especially bonus damage to the head, because whenever I've been playing as a stealth archer, and whenever I land a headshot, it's like, yeah! And it does nothing extra.
Even though
it makes no difference.
An arrow through their forehead.
Yeah, I'll literally shoot an arrow into their eye, and it's the same as if I hit them in the chest. It's like, come on. Especially because, as well, if you do have... I mean, Fallout already has it, like, the limb damage system, but I feel like in a game where you're using, like, a lot of enemies are melee and stuff, if you suddenly, like, cripple their arm, and then they can't raise their shield up, and suddenly they're a lot easier to attack, like, I feel like it makes way more of a difference than in a shooter game. Where it's like, oh no, I've crippled the arm, and oh, they've got a gun, so they just pull the trigger anyway, so it's no big deal. I think that'd be nice to see, a proper limb damage system.
I don't know. I think I would kind of like a durability system, too.
Man, I go back and forth on the whole durability idea.
I mean, to play into what you just said, too, like it almost goes hand in hand in my brain, because, like, shooting guns and shooting enemy weapons...
You're thinking about Fallout 3. I know you're thinking about Fallout 3 right now.
Until they're broken in Fallout 3 and zing off into the distance.
Yeah.
Like, I miss that. I miss doing that, and I miss the ability to... I mean, haven't even been able to go into a game like an Elder Scrolls and just whack away at somebody's shield until it breaks entirely.
Yeah. Oh, God,
instead of having to cripple their arm.
Yeah, then you could have, like, two-handed perks, which do, like, bonus equipment durability damage.
Yeah.
So then, as a two-handed warrior, maybe you do just relentlessly smash these enemies, and then their weapons and armor break. And sure, that's not as effective as bonus damage in terms of just killing quickly, but it makes them unable to do anything. Like, that's a fun way to make the combat feel different.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if one-handed doesn't have that as much, because they're more about just DPS rather than chip out. Yeah, there's so many cool things to do with it. Yeah. I'm on board with durability now.
Yeah. And, I don't know, because there's so much food in the Elder Scrolls, how about taking another whack at making it actually good in a skill sense?
Yeah, there's, like... To be fair, there's, like, half a dozen food items which are good, but half of those are also just the different soups which give effects, and a few of them are like the half fire added oven recipes, which even then are like, yeah, it's okay. There's like a cure disease with garlic bread, there's some bonus bow damage with apple dumplings, and I think there's another one which gives like extra magicka, like saying it the same as a shrine bonus, but yeah. The fact there's like 100 different food recipes or whatever you can make, and 5 of them are worth making is wild.
Yeah. I mean, it was that on top of me talking about like how poorly like the food skills went in Starfield.
Yeah.
And like how they need to be on par with some of the other skills. Like alchemy, for example, alchemy crushes. Like,
yes.
It's so good. Like, it almost feels completely necessary to enjoy the game. At least to me, because the aspect of, picking ingredients and stuff like that part's fun too. But like, if they made food a part, like kind of adjacent to that, like if you became like a baker or a brewer or, something along those lines, that you could have some really good like food-based benefits that only you could get. Because there's so much freaking food in the series. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the things that feel like not as utilized as they should be.
Yep. No,
where, like, people are spending so much time making these assets, and them just being another trash object is so heartbreaking for me sometimes.
The fact that a sweet roll is like a very Bethesda thing,
yeah,
but it's never worth having. It's like, oh, I have it in my inventory because, it's a sweet roll, but it's never really good. Oh, it is annoying. Yeah. Especially because there are so many effects they can have on. Like, how do none of the foods in Skyrim give you health regen other than, like, vegetable soup? And even then, that's not health regen per se, it's just restoring health, but over seconds. Like, yeah, there's so many different effects you could get, and there's basically none of them.
Yeah, speaking of consumables, how about, like, actual quest chain related to skooma addiction? Like,
Oblivion did have skooma addiction, right?
Happening to you yourself, though.
Did it not have player character skooma addiction in Oblivion?
It was an effect, but there wasn't like a lengthy quest tied to it or anything like that. I'm talking about like an actual like quest chain related to it. I feel like that would be saved for the Elder Scrolls Elsewhere, but if that ever happens, but I feel like putting your character in a place. I mean, you start the game that way. You start the game as a prisoner, but I like being faced with an underdog situation, I guess, and or like hitting your character's lowest low, because that doesn't happen beyond the beginning of the game as much.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of quests, like No One Escapes Sid in a Mine, I think is a good example of that.
Yeah, that is a good one.
And also, I think they need to do a rework on how crime works, because there is technically a whole, like, jailbreak sequence for every prison in the game, and some of them are really quite interesting. But you almost never get arrested, because it's not worth it. You can, like, pay off your bounty very easily if you're with the Thieves Guild, or if you're not Jarl, Thane of a hold, then basic crime is no problem. And if you do a big crime, you just get murdered. Like, Bethesda really needs to, like, tweak their crime settings so it's more of a focus on being detained and having fun stuff go on with it. Because they've half
like
done
incentivizing the crime, the crime penalty aspect, I guess.
Yes, as well, because I feel like most people as well just quick save before doing a crime.
I was gonna say, like everybody has quick saved at some point before picking a pocket or picking up a an owned item or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I've already remade the pickpocket system. So Bethesda, if you want to just pinch the video I did, I even made animations for it, so there you go. Rather than percentage based, because Bethesda, why do you think 100% is not a number? It is. 100% exists. Please use it. But even better, actually make it like a pickpocket minigame and have like skill-based stuff, because whenever it is just random chance, then the best thing to do is quick save, because through no fault of your own, you can just fail. And I never liked that.
I mean, that's part of the reason why I liked New Vegas's take on skill checks rather than Fallout 3's, because Fallout 3 did the chance-based thing, whereas New Vegas was just like, just have the skill here and you'll pass.
Yeah,
you can still fail it too if you want to, and it's sometimes funny, but this is what you need to pass it.
I actually don't like the New Vegas one, but I do also agree with you, which is a weird situation to be in. One thing I do want to give Fallout 3 credit is at least they tried to make charisma worthwhile by making charisma and speech work together to get that thing. Whereas in New Vegas, like, it's basically a meme at this point, where charisma 1, speech 100 is, like, the best way to go. Which still irks me.
I think we've gone over plenty of examples, I think. Nothing else is coming to my mind. Are you tapped out for...
I'm going to tap out, because I could come up with Skyrim stuff, because I feel like it's just going to be me ranting and going blah, 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 constantly. We don't need that. There's enough of that in this episode.
All right. So, tell me, Sarge, what have you been playing and doing and making over the last week and a half.
You're not going to believe this, Caedo, but I've played Skyrim recently.
No.
Yeah, I actually bulk recorded a bunch of videos for the second channel, Bad Company Gaming, specifically because it's going to be very hot over here for the rest of a month, and sitting in a room with all the doors closed and no fan or anything is how I have to record videos like that. So I was like, nah, I'm just going to bulk record, and I am now scheduled until the 20th of July for Skyrim. I've got up to episode 19 done. So I did a lot of Skyrim.
Nice.
Which, yeah,
Did
I
you
also
win?
have. I haven't beat the game yet.
Oh.
I feel like it's going to be maybe 25-ish episodes this series. That feels roughly where it'll be. But yeah, there's been a lot of Skyrim I've been playing, and it's been fun. Though all of the stuff I talked about, I've already talked about it a lot. So instead, I'm going to move on to some of the other games I've been playing. Recently I picked up Dark Souls 2 again. I've made it to Iron Keep, which is a lot of fun, because the lore around it is really cool. It's basically a keep made of iron. Wild, I know, Dark Souls lore is impenetrable.
What?
But it's a keep made of iron, but it was literally too heavy, so it started sinking into the ground, and now there's like lava everywhere, and it's basically just half destroyed, and you're going through the top part of the keep, which is now the bottom part, and it's really like interesting and visually cool. And also, as someone who plays with a bow equipped up, or bow like as my secondary weapon at all time, it is a great place to farm enemies, because there's lots of enemies just standing around that you can shoot, and they give tons of souls, and it's just, yeah, I'm farming that location right now. I also did the Smelter Demon boss fight, which was very cool. Like, it's maybe the boss fight I've died the most on? I think tied with the Chariot, perhaps. But the problem is the Smelter Demon, while not being, like, insanely powerful, is on fire. So when you're close to him, which you have to be if you're a melee character, you are constantly just taking a small amount of burn damage, which makes it really difficult figuring out how long you're going to stick around and chop at him, versus when you can afford to move out of the way and heal up all the damage you've taken from being on fire. And I found that a really fun mechanic. But I haven't played a ton of Dark Souls 2, though, because I've also been playing an indie game, which is currently in early access, called Fate Keeper.
Ah, one we've talked about before.
We have indeed. I bought it, I've been playing it, and it's very challenging. There's already been like 2 or 3 updates, and every single update from the developers, they've been like, we've made the game easier, because they're aware of how difficult it is. But yeah, it's a first-person game where you're playing as a druid, but like a slow, clunky, heavily armored druid with big swords and stuff. Very different than the D&D, oh, I'm squishy, and then I turn into a bear. This time it's like, no, it has a very cool alchemy system, where you like combine ingredients and you get each of their effects, and then that creates a potion or a poison. There's beautiful animations for using these items. It's not like in Skyrim where it's just like you press the hotkey button and it just is consumed and the effect happens. You have to physically like pull out the potion and you drink it, or you pull out the poison salve and like pour it over your weapon. It's gorgeous. The whole game, in fact, is gorgeous. Despite being like incredibly brown and grey, it still looks beautiful.
You sound like me when talking about animation, Sarge.
Yeah, these animations are good. They're good enough that I bring them up, and I'm not the animation guy. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's a lot of fun. It's very challenging. Like, I talk about it in my most recent video, but I describe it as in some ways harder than Elden Ring. That's like a really good example of how difficult it is. But between Dark Souls 2 and Fate Keeper, I have 2 very challenging games, so I'm having to split my time between them. I can't just go all in. But the other thing is, last night I started watching Firefly.
What?
Yeah, it's my first time watching it.
Wow.
And, hot take, people, Firefly's kind of good. I understand why people wanted to come back.
I had no idea, Sarge.
That's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
It is kind of painful watching it, because so much of Starfield is based on Firefly. And it is literally just them going, hey, what if we took this interesting stuff in Firefly, but made it bad? And that's so much of what Starfield does. Like, the whole Freestar Collective is clearly based off of, like, the Rebels or the Alliance or whatever they call them in Firefly that the main guys are. And, like, the spacesuits as well, I'm like, I've worn that spacesuit in Starfield, basically. but they take all of the interesting stuff from Firefly and then just strip it down and make it boring, and I'm like, come on. Oh, it's such great source material you had, and then you just ruined it. And it bugged me so much while watching. But I've been enjoying it so far. There's so many neat elements, like, I really enjoy how both Chinese and English are the main two things, and how English is primarily the spoken language, but Chinese seems to be primarily the written language, which makes sense because Chinese is a written language, and then the spoken ones are like Mandarin, Cantonese, Shanghaiese, and 50 other dialects and stuff. So that makes sense in like this future world. And yeah, there's just a lot of really cool stuff in Firefly. I'm glad I'm finally getting around to watching it, and it's aged very well.
Good.
It still looks good. They actually do a very good job of not tending to have the CG and the real stuff combined in the same shot. Like, you don't often see characters standing and staring at a spaceship in front of them so much. They try and separate it a little bit, which makes it feel more believable, because you've not got the contrast of, oh yeah, the CG's not quite up to modern standards versus seeing someone's actual real face. So they've done a lot of smart stuff there. Anyway, Firefly's good. What you been doing, Caedo?
Oh my. Okay. Well, I've been publishing and recording my Cursed in Skyrim playthrough that we had mentioned a little bit earlier, and it's going okay so far. It is taking me a bit to get back in the groove, so I'm doing a lot of like false starts when I start recording. I go like 5-6 minutes in and I'm like, nope. I just stopped dead in my commentary. But fortunately, in the edit, nobody sees that. So, you know.
I mean, I have been paying attention, and I'm like, I can tell sometimes, oh, Caedo's a bit rusty here. That's clearly an edit where you, like, chopped out part of a sentence and stuff. But that's also because I am someone who has been recording and editing a Skyrim challenge.
Like, I recognize the same exact thing in your playthrough. So, game recognizing game, or lack of it in this case. So that's been a lot of fun. I'm not spinning the wheel as much as I want to yet, because I'm more picking up a lot of the quests. I did do the Ring of Hercene, like the very first thing, so that one happened, but I also failed to spin the wheel like when I made a new backpack. So the punishment is spinning the wheel twice if I forget. So that's fun. That's a fun thing I get to do. But episode 2 should be out by now, so you get to see me fail.
Episode 3 should be out by now, right?
Episode 3 is out Friday.
Every Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah. So I mean, when this episode of the podcast comes out, yes, the third episode of the Cursed in Skyrim playthrough will be out too. And I'm hoping something picks it up somewhere in the algorithm, because like it's still, kind of mid when it comes to people watching it. But I'm imagining the extra effort I put into the thumbnails, like those pop more. Like one of the images will just hit right, and hoping that, people just show up, because I am really enjoying making this, and I don't want to be disheartened, because I'm going to be playing this one for a while. So again, so far it's still very fun. It's nice to be back and have some sort of, punishment payoff kind of system to go along with. Also, I did some dog sitting, so dog pick for those of you who are watching the VOD or video on Spotify. He's a sweet boy. His name's Wendell, and I got to take care of him for 3 days technically, but I stayed the night at the owner's house for 2 of those days, and so I got to do the whole situation, feeding him breakfast and dinner, and feeding him meds because he's old, and giving him walkies, and jacking up his schedule because it got really hot during the day, so we need to walk him earlier in the day, and then he freaks out the next day because he's like, we're supposed to be walking now. I'm like, I already walked you. And that's the argument that we had, but he simmered down. He also really loves treats, so he throws a fit less when you give him those little freeze-dried apple pork treats. I think it's apple pork, whatever. Anyway, it good dog. I like being around animals. Animals are awesome. That was part of what I did this last week. But during that time, I was also playing Final Fantasy VII, like the original, or I guess the updated Steam version of the original.
I'm not sure which version you're on about.
The OG game.
How hot does Cloud look?
Cloud is a bunch of polygons.
Perfect. I am aware of what game.
Polygonal Cloud.
Yep.
Polygonal, not polyamorous Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing that a little bit because I, just wanted to just kind of felt excited for Fallout Remake Part 3 and wanted to play the OG a little bit.
Do you mean the Final Fantasy VII remake?
I was excited for Remake Part 3, so I started playing the original one. Yeah.
You said Fallout 3 remake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is my brain today?
I was really excited for Fallout 3 being remade, so I played a different franchise.
The final Fallout 7.
Yep.
Anyway, been fun. Don't need to say too much more about that. And also, I've been watching Vox Machina Season 4 because that has come out this past month. We're waiting for the last 3 episodes, I think, right now of Season 4. And this is I think the finale of the original campaign too. So there's a lot of stakes. There's a lot of tension. That I even got emotional for part of it because I didn't see something coming because they definitely made a choice in the writer's room that didn't happen in the campaign, and I'm like, oh my god. So I've been enjoying that too, and am excited to see what happens next because they do the cliffhanger thing on every 3rd episode. Stop it. Oh, I have to wait a week until the next one. Cool. Glad I bought all the popcorn that I did because popcorn's amazing when you watch a animated show that you like. So do recommend because what Critical Role's doing is pretty great still. If you haven't seen it already, they also animated campaign 2. It's called The Mighty Nine. So you have some options if you want some fun animated tabletop shows. Yeah, I think that's all I've been doing. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, everyone, for watching and listening. If you have, your wish listy stuff that you haven't written down yet for The Elder Scrolls 6, please put it in the comments below. You could become a comment of the cast in the next episode. But until then, we hope to see you in the next PIPCAST 3000, which go up every other Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, on YouTube and Spotify. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.